So, buying a second-hand Bentley, how mad do you have to be? Well, considering the fact I'm filming this out in the pouring rain, the answer is quite. But no, on a serious note, buying a second-hand Bentley Continental, is it worth it? Is it cost effective? Is it affordable, dare I say? These are the questions which this video seeks to answer. So, to give a sort of brief intro, I'm 25 years old and this is my car. So the initial answer is yes, it is doable. But what are the risks? What are the drawbacks? What does it come with? So this specific model is a Bentley Continental GTC Sport. And to look firstly at the plus sides, the positives, it is unbelievably fun. It has got a 6-litre W12 engine with 2 turbos producing over 600 horsepower. It can get itself up to 60 in around 4 seconds, which of a car of over 2 tons is unbelievable. It denies physics. So when you're driving it, you just feel that you're driving a house and it should not be going and moving at the sort of pace that it does. It feels impossible. And the grip, when you put it in sports mode, the sports suspension is, again, unbelievable. It can corner like a small hatchback when it's this size. So it's an amazing car. I've had a brilliant 10 months owning it. It's been unbelievable. Great times with my friends. Sometimes I would just go out and drive it around in circles. But that then introduces the first of the problems. That there was many times where I would take it out for a drive on a Sunday, for example, or just for a quick drive around the holiday house where I stayed, or my house. And in doing so, I would have to go and fill it up with petrol. And a lot of the time, in driving to and from the petrol station, if I was trying to be a bit frugal and say put in around £20, that's gone by the time that you get back. So the negative side. So let's first of all talk about price. So this car is a 2011 plate. It's around 13, 14 years old. And at the time, 10 months ago, I paid just below £40,000 for this car. Now, I like to think that these sort of cars are in quite a sweet spot at the moment, whereby if you are looking to purchase a car like this, a second hand, these sort of cars, when they're brand new, this car, for example, when it was brand new, it's the GTC Speed model of the Bentley Continental. And it's got quite a lot of specs. It's got massage seats, the whole song and dance. So this car, when it was new, it was around £160,000, I've found, which when you think about now, around 13, 14 years later, it's now going for around £40,000. That's 4 times, not quite, almost 4 times, or almost a quarter of the price, which is, to me, that is incredible. When I bought this car, it had less than 30,000 miles on. I've put a little bit on more since then, but when I bought it, it was just below 30,000 miles, barely used, kept in a showroom, kept in a garage for a lot of its life, and then sold to me for under £40,000 when it was initially 160. So you're really getting a lot of car for your money. It's an exquisite piece of engineering, all the bells and whistles that you get with it for that sort of money. And I think it's in the broader scheme of the car market, it's probably partially to do with petrol cars are a dying thing. It's going to be all electric soon. So this time now is a real sweet spot in where you can buy a car like this for really good money and get a lot of car and a lot of joy out of it. But there are some drawbacks, as we'll get onto. So let's talk price. So I paid, around 10 months ago when I bought this car, I paid just below £40,000 for it, 39,000. So how does that look in practical terms? On a loan, APR percentage of 6% over 4 years, that works out to be around £900 a month. Which, I know some of you may be thinking that's not as much as you may have thought, and it's not. You do need to remember, which I didn't, that there's then some small other costs such as insurance, tax and petrol. So insurance, again, surprisingly lower than you would think. Again, at the age of 25, I thought insurance on this car wouldn't be possible. Now I thought that would be a showstopper. But surprisingly, you can get insurance on this, or I do, for around about £1,300 per year, which works out to be about £115 per month. Now the reason for that is that different insurance companies base their insurance prices off of different statistics. And Admiral and those sort of insurance companies, that's actually who I'm with, they base it on how many people, their main sort of factor is how many people your age and in your demographic have had an accident in the kind of car you're trying to get insured. And as you can imagine, there's not very many 25-year-olds that have had an accident in a Bentley, because it's quite rare for a 25-year-old to own a Bentley, meaning that the insurance policy was actually very low. It was around, yeah, like I say, £115 per month. So if we add that on to the £900 for the loan, that then equals 1,015. You've then got tax, road tax, which if you put on a monthly direct debit is around £65 I pay for this. So that leaves you with a total of around £1,200. And again, you might be thinking £1,200 seems doable, seems possible that you could fit that into your budget, depending on your situation. £1,200 may seem doable. However, there is one catch which and has been a big factor actually me looking towards selling it, which is petrol. Now this car absolutely drinks. It does not take petrol lightly. It is so it depends how you drive it. If you drive it well, if you drive it slowly and at the sort of 56 miles an hour in cruise control, which is recommended, it can be doable. So for example, I did a drive not long after I purchased the car, back from London up to Scotland, so a total of about 450 miles, and I did that completely as economically as possible in 56 miles an hour in cruise control the whole way back, and I managed to do the whole journey for I think it was £150 worth of petrol, which is about a tank and just below a tank and a half, which from London to Scotland is not bad, to central Scotland is not bad, but that was driving incredibly slowly, and when you do that you're not getting the real, that's not why you bought the car, you're not getting the joy that you're looking for. So to give you the other end of the scale, if you put it in sports mode, sports suspension, and you accelerate to say overtake a bicycle, because of course we only follow the speed limit, that would get miles per gallon of around 5. It drops really low. I've seen it hit around 4 if you're heavily accelerating. So it can drink petrol, and in those circumstances, like I said, even going to the petrol station, you'll use up a good amount of the fuel you've bought if you're trying to be frugal with it. So you really need to put in full tanks and they disappear, they go quickly. So that is a real big factor. I mean, if you're looking to drive it regularly as your sort of daily driver and putting in a lot of petrol each time, you will be paying around upwards of £200-300 a week. It's a lot of money to fuel this car. So that's the main factor, is how often you're going to drive it, because if you're going to drive it a lot, it really won't be affordable with the cost of petrol. So that's definitely something to consider. So no, overall, in summary, as much as there are drawbacks, as much as there are pain points like the petrol, like the fairly high monthly payments on the loan, it is a brilliant car. It's unbelievable. Like I say, the engine, it's got a 6-litre W12 engine, two V6s strapped together, and 2 turbos. It drives unbelievably. You've got massaging chairs in the inside and the interior, quilted leather. It's got a Breitling clock. It's a brilliant place to sit. You really feel like you're in a stately manor, which just so happens to be travelling along the road at unbelievable speeds. It is a brilliant piece of machinery. Brake like nothing else. It's actually very safe. So on balance, would I buy it if I had the chance to do so again? Probably. For me, the main factor is how much you're going to drive it. If this is a sort of car that you're going to drive, if you don't drive very often, if you're going to kind of drive sporadically and this will just be driving at the weekends and now and then during the week, I would say yes, go for it. If you've got the means, if you've got the funds, go for it, absolutely, because as long as you're not using too much petrol, it won't actually be too expensive. You'll just kind of keep it at the monthly costs that I explained, around £1,200. But if you're looking to drive this as your daily driver, you're looking to put in a lot of miles and drive it every day, I would advise against, because it's just the petrol costs are just unbearable, to be honest. They'll end up being a lot more than your other monthly payments on the car. So as much as it is a lot of fun, another tip if you are looking to buy one of these is make sure it comes with a warranty. Make sure you've background checked it well, and make sure it comes with at least an assurance from a garage, if not a warranty, because that's what I did. I got a 15-month warranty with this, and you really do need that, because with cars this age in general, you want to have some sort of assurance that it's not just going to cause you a lot of issues, because that would be another huge drawback, would be if it just doesn't drive properly and you're having to take it to the garage every weekend. That's the last thing you want. So a warranty can be a very good way of avoiding that, and gladly I've had no issues like that with this car at all. It's the only thing which has been a real negative has just been the petrol costs. And another factor may be that you might be better driving this if you live in a slightly more sunny country. I'm currently in Scotland, as you can see from the weather. It is torrential rain, so driving this car, can't get the soft top down. It's not quite as fun when you're in this, but if you live somewhere maybe down south in England or southern Europe, you would maybe find it a lot more fun. I had plans to go and drive it down in Paris and maybe the south of France, which would have been the dream, but sadly that didn't work out before I'm now selling it. So yeah, if you live down there, or if you plan to do some travel road trips like that, it would be a brilliant thing for that. Like one point I forgot to mention is that it does have a soft top, and when you put the soft top down, it completely changes the car. It looks like a sports car, like, despite being a fairly not old-fashioned but bulky car. When you put the soft top down, it really looks like a low-slung sports car, and it looks brilliant. It's a real head turner. Like, I've driven it down into London, when London is full of sports cars, and I've had 2 people taking a picture of this car at once. It is a real head turner when the roof is down. It looks like a proper sports car. I'll overlay some clips and pictures of it with the roof down. It looks exquisite, and it's all leather trimming round the back where the roof goes, and it almost looks like a yacht. So, speaking about me selling it, I am now sadly having to part ways with this car, and to give a shameless plug, there will be a link in the description for my Auto Trader advert if you're looking to buy it. There's still 6 months left in the warranty that the car came with, so there is still a 6-month warranty which I can transfer to the new owner, meaning that you do have a lot of assurances. It's a great car, drives brilliantly, and you've got a 6-month guarantee from the warranty provider. So if that's of interest to you, feel free to reach out to me through the Auto Trader link, and if not, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it educational. See you in the next one.